you call it, day in the life of a designer. We primarily, you know, going to talk about from the mud to the world. You feel me? And we just really going to tap in because primarily what we like to do here on, day in the life of a designer is primarily talk about things centered around the brand, what we doing to improve, and what I'm saying, different, things that we're doing as well too, like photo shoots, um, podcast sessions, interviews, things of that sort. Just trying to give everybody behind the scenes on everything, give you the mindset of a designer as well too, and just throw out as many possible gems as possible, just so that way, y'all can see what it really takes in order to be a successful designer, and the road and journey that comes along with it. So primarily what we going to talk about, like I said, is from the mud to the world. And the first question that I want to ask is, from the mud to the world, what does from the mud to the world mean? And essentially that means is that every successful brand starts somewhere, often before anyone else believes in them or even sees the vision. You feel me? So the question I have for y'all is, where did your journey begin, and where do you want it to lead? Because for me personally, when I first started my journey, like I said, I was in Atlanta, 17 years old, about to graduate high school, and literally I was in the midst of doing my business project for my business and marketing class. But at the same time, I was, dealing with homelessness because, my dad just continued to put us in bad situations. And then on top of that, I was still dealing with the loss of my mom, which happened, 4 years prior to that. So, the mud is where every vision begins. You feel me? The mud represents uncertainty and struggle and, the early stages of building. Every designer, what I'm saying, starts with ideas before they have recognition. And from that point on, for me, that's where I started to actually tap into more of the, I guess you could say, skill sets that I needed. Number one, I had spent time with my godmom that summer in New York, in Lower Manhattan. And she pretty much took me around and showed me, New York City, but from the fashion standpoint, showing me Fabric Row, showing me, um, her job as a stylist at that time. And pretty much, the different things that it takes in order to, maintain clients, collect clients, and, just build a solid business overall. I also, ended up learning how to do the podcast thing because my godmom does a podcast around business, but she primarily talks to celebrities about their, success in business. So definitely, check her out, Kylie Carr Richardson. Feel me? She doing big things beyond the business suit. Um, you know, your foundation shapes your future more than your starting point. And that's another thing too for me. Like, my mom was a hard worker. Like, me and my sister consistently saw hard work in our household from, her father, my mom, and even, my dad, when my sister would see my dad around. But it's just a matter of, that was just our starting point. But then, I had like my Aunt Cheryl Richardson, Dr. Aunt Cheryl Richardson. She was like, all right, bro, be safe. Everybody on the bike tonight. But yeah, my Aunt, Dr. Cheryl Richardson, she pretty much showed us, you know, what it took to be an entrepreneur, how to get successful, because she started out as a school teacher. You feel me? 20 years in the school system. Then, started working her way up in the McDonald's chain. She started working at McDonald's, built her way up through there with my mom. And from that point on, she ended up starting her own company, consulting for McDonald's and other big name companies as well too, and just worked her way in the door. So honestly, everybody's foundation shapes them for their future. It's just a matter of if you embrace the journey on that, on that role, and developing in the vision. A vision grows through consistency and, learning and refinement, pretty much rebranding. And every collection, sketch, podcast, and live stream contributes to, a bigger goal, a bigger mission. Ultimately, the ultimate goal that you have for yourself and for your brand, you know what I'm saying? You're just taking those small steps each and every day to get there. You feel me? And it takes time. It's a process. You got to trust the process. But at the same time, you have to do the research. You got to come up with a solid plan, content plan, product plan. All these things factor in to having success in, the fashion industry. The importance of staying, committed to the process, even when, progress feels slow. That's every day. Because a lot of times things are going to be feeling like they stagnant when they really not. Like for me, even today, like I sent out some gear for my brand ambassadors so that way they could start, taking their photos and shit like that. And, sometimes it can take a little bit longer than what you expect. And then, all of a sudden, one of my homies who got it hit me up today, was like, yeah, bro, I got that joint. He was like, we ready to get to work. Make sure you give me a call before you go to sleep, nigga. I was like, damn. It was like, I was feeling all that stagnant feeling. But at the end of the day, shit's still moving, shit progressing, even when it look ugly, you know what I'm saying? And you got to think beyond your plans. You got to think beyond your city, because building a brand that can resonate anywhere in the world is important, especially in, the modern era of business. You feel me? A lot of businesses have the opportunity to, touch people all across the world. Literally, my brand is touching people in different countries each and every day. 50 cities and 141 countries. That's just via, my podcast information. So that just lets you know, like, you can do anything in this world. And if you put a solid plan together for that joint, you can reach the people that you plan on reaching. It might take a little time. Like I said, it's a process. Like I've said before, like my friend DJ Wally, took him 10 years in order to become an elite DJ. Shoot, I'm in year 8 and still making my way through. So, everything is a process. And like I've said before, your favorite celebrity, they definitely spent 5-10 years building their brand, their foundation, and who they are within the industry and business that, they participate in. But at the end of the day, with someone unfamiliar with me understand this collection, these are the questions that you're going to have to start asking yourself. You know what I'm saying? Does my work communicate a clear message? Am I creating something, timeless or temporary? And it's similar to the past 3 streams that we had, where we started talking about the art of storytelling, then also talking about luxury as a mindset. And then as well to that, like last night, why have you chosen fashion, or why have you chosen your career choice? Because the thing about it is that the responsibility of growth isn't on your audience. It isn't on, the haters. It's on you. And as your audience grows, your standards should be growing too. Protect your quality, protect your storytelling, and protect your purpose. You feel me? Success isn't just about reaching more people. It's about staying true to what made your work meaningful. That means, that work ethic. That means that routine. That means, the environment that you're in. Those people that, you put together, that you nourish, that you nurtured, that you help gain knowledge and wisdom. And that is, they're putting fruit, seeds into your plan and your foundation. You feel me? So that way you can ultimately grow to the utmost high. You feel me? Like I said, man, what version of the mud are you coming from? You feel me? We all technically are, coming from some type of mud. It might not be, from the streets like me, or, like a lot of people in, my community. But at the end of the day, you're coming from somewhere. Your story means something. And if you take the time to, actually look at what you were able to do, what you're actually capable of, then you'll understand that, your story actually can touch multiple people, touch lives, change lives, you know what I'm saying? Encourage people to be better. What are you doing today that, your future self will be proud of? You feel me? Like, are you starting to build a routine? Or are you wasting time? You sitting there, you know what I'm saying like what everybody else is doing, you could do that shit too. And, you're not doing anything about it, or you actually putting in the time, you know what I'm saying? You're making the sacrifice of, not going out and partying with your friends, but, after you come home from work, you sitting there like, yeah, man, I got to focus in on this joint so that way I can start getting out this content and I can start building my brand. You know what I'm saying? There's other aspects to, building a business too. You got to, if you plan on having a LLC, it's definitely, you got to go out there. Where I went was, Inc.com, but there's other platforms as well too where you can sign up, set up your information. But ultimately, are you doing the things that, are going to get you there? Are going to get you to that ultimate success that you've been dreaming about since whenever? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to take the time and, do the necessary things each and every day in order to get to that point? If your work reached people around the world, what message would you want them to remember? For me personally, visualize your purpose. Live like royalty. Like, it's just that simple. Like, that's what our brand is about. That's what we stand on. And within every message that we put out, that's all I'm trying to say, is visualize your purpose. Put in the time and the work in order to get to your dreams and goals. Stop waiting for motherfuckers to do shit for you. Stop waiting for motherfuckers to help you out when you know they're not about to do it. Go get that shit yourself. You need to go get a fucking job, go get a fucking job and go fucking take care of your shit. So that way, you ain't gotta depend on nobody. Like, we gotta be better as a society, we gotta be better as individuals. And you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, the thing about it is that when it comes to your dreams and goals, nobody gonna save you and nobody gonna help you unless you help yourself first. You feel me? So you gotta go out there and get it. Every global brand starts with, a local story. From the mud to the world isn't about where you begin. It's about having the vision, the discipline, and consistency to turn your beginnings into something that inspires people everywhere. And I know a lot of people be like, well, I don't got this, that, and the third. I don't got money. I don't got, a mentor, or I don't got this, that. Fuck that. Like, you have resources at home that definitely could get you started. Your phone is one of them. So today I challenge you to use that motherfucking phone and go chase your dreams and goals and stop wasting time. Because there is no perfect time. Like I said, nobody's going to come out there and save you. The only person that's going to save you is you. And then once you start putting in that effort, putting in that time, doing the research, even, finding a mentor to teach you the things that you don't know, then motherfuckers going to see that effort, that hustle, and real motherfuckers ain't never going to fucking deny that. You feel me? I know there ain't that many of us left, but a real motherfucker see you working hard and that you got potential and that you willing to, put in the time and the effort for that potential, then they gonna invest in you. And that's the thing. Sometimes, you just gotta change your environment just so that way you can be around those types of people that are willing to do so. You feel me? And a lot of times we fail to do that. We like to stay in the environment that we're in and, hope that, shit will change along the way. But that's not how it works. Stay true to yourself. You feel what I'm saying? But also make sure that you are constantly improving. You're constantly putting yourself in a better predicament and situation. And you're giving yourself the best opportunity, the best leverage to get opportunity. You feel me? This theme, was primarily just trying to connect where From the Mud, the collection, spoken word album, and poetry book, which is available on all proper platforms for books, streaming, and also, music, and also, clothes. The clothes are available on our website, dreamsofrulerstreet.com. Again, that's dreamsofrulerstreet.com. So make sure you go check it out. Tap in with, the spoken word and also the poetry book too on our website. We also have brand apparel there as well too. And we also, got sneakers from the Mud collection. We also got slides. We got, accessories. We got, pretty much casual wear available for this collection. The next collection, Student again, will have more business casual and more monochrome tones and the pieces. So definitely, make sure you go check it out. Make sure you tap in. Just actually happy that I didn't have to do 2 different streams tonight. But we here. Definitely appreciate everybody that's been tapping in with us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the From the Mud collection is out now. The spoken word album is out now on all streaming platforms. The, poetry book From the Mud is available in ebook and print on all book streaming platforms. And you can get the print available on our website as well too. So definitely tap in, definitely show love. I appreciate all those that have been showing love on the live stream, that's been watching the live streams and clips as well too on Kick. And, even the clips that you've been probably seeing on our YouTube channel as well too. It's definitely helping us to start to go up. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure you share with your friends and family. And, continue to turn up yourself, visualize your purpose. And like I said, start living like royalty. I am